Welcome on into another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show. I told you guys I was going to break this down for you guys, so here I go. We about to break it down, right? We about to break it down. I did a quick upload earlier. But we're going to get into the details of this one, right? Now, this channel is a trending topic channel, so whatever is trending, that's what I generally try to cover. And the reason why it's important to cover this And the reason why it's important to cover this right now is it's a lot that's going on that we must uncover, because I don't believe in coincidences, right? Do you? Put a 1 in the chat if you believe in coincidence. Put a 2 in the chat if you're not so fond of that one, right? So let's go. Let's get it. Now you guys see the background behind me. I have DDG, Haley, Chris Brown. We have Tory Lanez. We also have Megan Thee Stallion, Rock Nation, and Jay-Z. We're going to put it together real quick. First, we're going to start out with Tory Lanez, right? Let's start out with Tory Lanez and the new evidence that's found. I believe that he was framed for it. The evidence is going to prove that. He was attacked based on the fact that he cracked the whole code. To me, he cracked the whole algorithm, right? And you no longer need the industry in order to become successful, because you guys know how the industry goes. You have to be an industry puppet. You damn near have to be zesty. You have to walk through any doors. You have to do things you probably don't want to do, which may mess up your moral complex. Hell, you may have to go to Diddy parties, right? Just saying, I'm going to do a Diddy update as well, and what I believe that he's going to walk away from this case scot-free, because just look at the court case, right? But let's continue. Let's go.
Attack. His father and supporters gathered today to demand his release.
Former rapper was convicted of shooting Megan Thee Stallion. Fox 7's Christopher Hardo tells us about the claim of new evidence.
Bringing it to light now was made necessary by the events of this week.
Just days after rapper Tory Lanez, also known as Daystar Peterson, was attacked in prison, his attorneys are calling on Governor Newsom to pardon or commute his sentence, insisting they have new evidence Lanez didn't shoot superstar Megan Thee Stallion, but it was instead her former best friend, Kelsey Harris.
Now, this is another thing. Now, Kelsey Harris, that may be the shooter, but she already went under oath saying this and saying that. So she's going to get some form of jail time if the evidence leads to her. Just think about it. But let's continue.
And they say Harris's one-time bodyguard, Bradley James, was spurred by conscience to come forward.
Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody.
Walter Roberts says the statement aligns with a...
Y'all heard it. She had the gun. She shot 3 times. Let me repeat it for the people that's just coming in. Listen on up. Because y'all know the courts, to me, they already made their decision without even scanning the evidence fully. But y'all have to remember, he didn't want to do the Rock Nation deal. And what happens, right? What happens when you become bigger than the program? They try to humble you. Same thing that happened to Diddy. He felt himself. He thought he was bigger than d.o.g.e, the people who running the game, right? Running the money round.
Mr. Peterson never shot anybody.
Walter Roberts says the statement aligns with another witness who saw 2 women fighting. Lanez is serving a 10-year sentence after being convicted of shooting Stallion in the Hollywood Hills back in 2020. The singer testified against Lanez and in an op-ed wrote, quote, "Even as a victim, I have been met with skepticism and judgment."
Hell yeah, you've been met with skepticism and judgment. And another reason too is, like, as soon as Tory Lanez's career went down, her career actually went up. So it's damn near like she sacrificed Tory Lanez. That's just in my opinion, right? You got to understand, Hollywood is up to no good, right? very, as far as the spiritual realm, very demonic. I think the more demonic you are, the more likely you are to make it in Hollywood. If you got a good soul, a good head up on your shoulder, you're trying to be an independent artist or anything along that nature, the computer is your best friend. Crack the computer code. Hollywood, they're up to no good unless you want to go in those rooms with the zesties and the, maybe you have to sacrifice this and do things you don't want to do, or be around people that don't have your best interests, or maybe at a Diddy party you end up staying after hours. Now they have dirt on you being filmed, anything along that nature, right? It gets very, very dirty in Hollywood. It's up to no good. Leave your thoughts down below. Let's continue.
We didn't hear back from Stallion's attorney and couldn't reach Harris for comment. Lanez' lawyers say they've had the new evidence for months and were waiting on the appeals court to rule, but went public after he was stabbed in prison.
And that's what I don't believe in coincidences. I'm telling you. So when they found the new evidence, they put a hit on him, allegedly, hypothetically, supposedly. And then the guy who put a hit on him, guess what happens in this, right? Allegedly, Megan Thee Stallion fans sent them a GoFundMe. So you telling me they paying for hits, and you can't say that it's coming from one individual, right? Which just can be kind of brilliant when you think about it. Just look at it from a business perspective. When you think about it, you're trying to get away with murder, not condoning murder on my channel or anything along that nature, but let's just get into it, right? You're trying to get away with murder. You hired a hit. They don't know who it's coming from. So you break it down into many pieces like a puzzle. So you create a GoFundMe and you have a big cause and you say donate to this cause, right? And then that cause would then get paid. So now what does that mean? Now the guy, he looked like he's a Mexican guy. I'm gonna find a picture later on. Now the guy who actually stabbed Tory Lanez, I believe 14 times, right? God was with him. It wasn't his time to go, obviously, right? What 50 Cent said way back, you got hit like I got hit, but you ain't breathing. So he got hit, and obviously he has a reason to still be breathing, right? Now, first I said, well, you know what? If he in jail, he in Cali. Tory Lanez already made the money, so he's good financially, right? Word on the street is that Tory Lanez on Christmas bought everybody commissary in the whole unit. Think about that. Look at it. You got the small things you do in there. You could be very powerful, right? Favor for favor, eye for eye. So imagine who he actually ruffle their feathers or say, because it's a hierarchy in there. So it's like, damn, someone coming in and they're treating my guests. Think about ownership. Think about the mentality, the survival mentality. That can be unlawful. So someone like, hold on, let's get rid of it. That's what I thought at first. But then I said, nah, this is a bit personal, right? This is a bit personal. How did the guy who did the mission get a GoFundMe, and it's coming from Megan Thee Stallion fans? The people speak louder than we will ever speak. See, people tell on themselves, right? And especially with the internet, you want to find anything out the sky with the internet and make your educated decision, right? I'm not saying everything you see is true, but make an educated decision, because the way I see it, it's like, Megan, you on top of that stallion again, ain't it? Who does she come from? Who sent the stallion, right? Don't forget, this is a chess game. To me, allegedly, hypothetically, people are screaming Rock Nation. Think about it. Now I'm going to connect Rock Nation to everything that's going on with Chris Brown, Jay-Z, Chris Brown, DDG, Haley, Beyonce, who else? Rihanna. All these things are interwoven and interconnected. So I said, this is a very dirty game. I've been said that Diddy was going to get off on this case, side note, because that's Jay-Z right-hand man. Think about it. Y'all not really thinking what's going on, and they can't even prove a thing. That's the thing. Now, do I support what he's doing? Hell no. Our channel don't support that, but I'm here to tell you guys what you probably don't want to hear. And the truth is, you got to prove beyond the unreasonable doubt. And to me, so much doubt in this. So much doubt. She with it. She wasn't with it. She She was part of it. They arrested Carisha Please. So if you arrested Carisha Please, why you ain't arrest Cassie? She was the first woman. Did he had to get rid of her and step up Carisha? So was it hate in the game? That's a whole nother topic, right? I'm gonna talk about that on another episode. But let's continue with the Tory Lanez first.
He was stabbed 14 times.
The rapper's father, Sunstar Peterson, says his son is recovering remarkably well, but recounted the story Lanez told him.
And I quote, "Dad, I thought it was my last. And having made my peace with God, I said, okay, God, is this how it's supposed to end for me?" But God said no. God told him, "Do not give up."
The family and legal team insist Lanez was never given.
And I kind of see where Tory Lanez got his speaking ability. His father speaks quite well. As a prophet, as a preacher, God-fearing, he articulates in a manner that one can understand. And you can literally feel what his father is saying. So that's a good dad. You got to give it up to him. You got to give it up to him. Right or wrong, he's still on his son's side, but he seems to me that he wants to be ethically and morally correct because he don't believe in unjust. And he been saying that his son was being targeted because he cracked the internet code. How did he crack the code? Let me inform you guys. Y'all remember when Tory Lanez, right? This is when the pandemic was happening. Everyone was in the house, but you had to create the ingenious way to make money. Most of the people were scared back then, right? For the people that wasn't, we thought about innovative ways to make money, right? You had time to think for the first time in history. So Tory Lanez made an NFT, a non-fungible token, which means that he attached his music to a digital artwork. He attached his music to a digital artwork. He sold each copy for $1. So he sold 1 million copies. So he made $1 million, I believe, in under 60 minutes. He broke the internet. Then this is the mind-boggling part that people are not talking about. I say he made M&Ms that day. What do M&M means? The verbiage, millions upon millions, multiple millions, right? Probably damn near a billion, right? Because you don't really know the math. So what he did was for each copy that you bought, because you own a piece of the song and you own the artwork. For each copy that you bought, resold for $30,000 to $40,000. I don't think y'all hearing me. Let me repeat it for the people in the back. For each copy that he sold for $1, you can resell for $30,000 to $40,000. So imagine if you got 4 of them. Imagine. That's a $120,000 investment that you just made off of $4. Do you get it? Internet blew up. He went on and said, you no longer need the labels. He have cracked the code. Ever since that day, I said, damn, he shouldn't have said that. Well, you know what? I can't say that because I learned so much from what he said that he had to be the messenger, but they tried to prosecute the messenger, right? He showed you that you no longer needed the Atlantic, you no longer needed the Atlantic, you no longer needed the Rock Nation, you no longer needed none of these old time record companies because you can eliminate the middleman by actually paying attention to the interface, which is you and the damn computer. I said ingenious, right? So he got ridiculed because of that, because he became independently independent. Let me repeat. He was the first one to me that broke the internet, and ain't nobody do that. Jay ain't do that. Diddy ain't do that. Nobody in the industry did that but Tory Lanez. On that day, I said, you got to respect the man. You got to respect the man. And his YouTube streaming was popping. You got to respect the man. He's one of the first people that I actually seen was streaming, right? First person. Just saying. You have to respect the man. Respect his hustle at least. So that's how they upset it, the Tory Lanez thing. Now let's go on to DDG, right? Let's go on to DDG after this.
A fair trial, raising questions about the prosecution and investigation, but now say Lanez can't wait for the appellate process to play out.
Now, my thing is, do y'all believe that he will get freed off of this news? People say it's well overdue. And is his life still will be at risk? I think so, heavily. I think when he come out, he got to move. So as he touch the mic, he going gold. So he have to move militant. He have to move in a way that he has to know that people don't have his best interests, right? People will not have his best interests. That's just how I see it, right? But leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think, right? Let me know what you think. Now let's go on to the next part, where I wanted to talk to you guys about DDG, right? That's another young man that, to me, he broke the internet as well, right? He broke the internet, but first we're gonna start off with this one real quick, right? We're gonna start off with Jay-Z sent DDG a bottle weeks before Haley allegations, right? He sent them a bottle supposedly cost $300K. DDG was gonna pop the bottle, but I don't think that he did. But why would somebody send you a bottle? And you got to understand, these streamers are bigger than what they think they are, right? Meaning that these streamers, to me, are the new Interscopes, are the new Atlantic, right? They are the big boys on the block. And the reason why I say that is because you no longer need, like I say, the middleman is over with. You have the internet, you have the interface. That's it. That's all you need. So he's another big streamer as well. That's not controlled. That's independent. That's making buku money on the daily. And I think he's the first person that said he wants to do. And when I heard this, I say that's kind of ingenious, right? Because my ears pick up things that's like life changing. So when he said, I'm going to do a tour and I'm going to do an all live tour, I said, what? You're going to do an all live tour? So you streaming all your whole tour? Never been done before. I never seen it. Have you guys ever seen anyone live stream their whole tour? That's what I'm saying. So pay attention to this one. And the guy take care of his kids, right? Obviously. But one thing I know a woman can do, once they figure out what you love and what you like, be very careful, because they begin to use that against you if they're very manipulative, if they don't want a nuclear family, and if they just out to get you because you may be successful or anything, or on your way to be successful. Be very careful, because some of them can be very spiteful. Not all, but most women can be very spiteful, especially if you're not married to them, if you don't see a future with them, if you are individual and you stand on your own, or simply if you're just a man, if you're not a pushover or someone that they could you got to pretend to be this type of person on a daily basis. Like, if you're not, I figured out, and I tell men that stay on your pivot, stay on your cue, because at the end of the day, right, if you're playing into her fantasy and her world, you lost. Sometimes it may be a lonely road, but it's much more respectful if you play your own role, meaning that you do what's best for you, right? And then watch what happens. She's going to begin to respect it. She's going to know that she has to hold herself at night. She has to be accountable for her actions. She can't just say, you know what, well, he's not participating in my fantasy, so guess what? It's time for me to find someone that will. And then after they do, there's so many different fantasies that's going to come, right? So don't be a fantasy pleaser, right? Be a man. Hold on to your kahunas in this world that's very feminine, right? And they're pushing the feministic agenda. But let's continue.
Drunk. Big one.
So,
Should I pop it? I should wait. Pop it at the end. All right, bet.
now that's the bottle that was sent to him 1 week before all these allegations start happening. Now follow me now, because I put this thing together for you guys quite well, right? Now that's the one thing that y'all pay attention. Just pay attention. Now let's share the whole detail.
Halle Bailey is taking legal action against her ex, DDG. The Little Mermaid star, who shares 7 17-month-old son Halo with the rapper was granted a temporary domestic violence restraining order on May 13th against the musician, according to legal documents obtained by E! News. In the request filed in Los Angeles, Hallie says the pair had a fight back in January, during which DDG slammed her face against the steering wheel of a car, leaving her with bruises on her arm and a chipped tooth, according to the docs, which include photos of the injuries. She writes in the order, "I then stopped fighting back as I was in a lot of pain," before adding elsewhere, "Daryl lacks an understanding of how his actions impact Halo. He is often verbally..."
Y'all have to remind yourself that she is an actress. Don't forget that part. She very much so is an actress. You know, am I saying that they didn't have an altercation? Of course, they have kids, right? And sometimes having a kid with someone actually could pull you further apart. You would think that it would bring you closer, but it actually could pull you further apart if you don't know oneself or you don't have a common interest and or a common goal, right? I believe she did some devious things, and he didn't want any parts of her anymore. Right? He says she's very manipulative and she's evil because she tried to use the kids as far as custody and everything else. Right? That's why I tell some guys, look, hate to say it, right? But sometimes you got to beat them at their own game. Meaning that you may have to go to court yourself. And you're not going to court for no child support or anything along that nature. You're not petty, right? Because guys don't really care about that. We don't care about the court system because it's a masculine thing to be in charge of your own territory, be dominant, right? We're not going to be the first to call the police. That's a lady thing to do, right? We're trying to hold on to our own and control and police our own, right? We don't need them involved. But sometimes I found out in America, you may have to get them involved. Put your pride aside, and this is what I say. Because she's going to fight for custody for the child, right? Now, the only reason why you're taking her to court is just so you can be in your child's life, so you can have joint custody. That's it. That's it. Because if she beats you to the punch, she gets to you guys know that the United States have women rights, like tremendously, actually trumps men right. Just saying. Just saying. If you go like to Dubai, anything along that nature, oh no, bye-bye. Men running it over there. So that's not happening. But in America, in the land of the free and the home of the brave, they have rights too. They have been liberated. Do I think that was the best idea? I think it should have been the way it ought to be. Men, God, men, women, and then children. But right now, the way I look at it is just women. I don't even think they see God anymore. Just women, kids, that's it. And they think that they can do it all by themselves. No real, let's not say woman, a girl thinks like that. A female dog may think like that, right? But a real woman doesn't think like that. And most of these ladies growing up, they don't know what it actually means to be a real woman. They didn't see the example. They don't know what it actually means to love upon a man. They never loved their father and or seen their father. So how would they know? So the questions would then be like, who do you blame? You can't really blame anyone, right? You just have to learn. You have to grow. You can't be stuck in your old traumatic past. You have to shed it like a snake, leave that behind, and learn how to be something. But sometimes it's too late to program someone over 25 about what a woman should do, what the role of a man, and it comes back from a lot of different things that we had to go through throughout life. So I'm not saying that we aren't a product of our environment or an effect of something, but yet, right? That is no excuse. We already know that. Ain't no point in living in the past when you got a hell of a bright future and you can actually change your outcome. That's all I'm saying. So we have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't play the slavery and I grew up in a single mother household, or I didn't grow up with a nuclear family structure. I get it. It does weigh on you. It does have some type of side effects, but that's still not yet. It is not an excuse. That's all I'm saying. We can't live in the past, right? We can only live in the now and leap towards the future. But let's continue. So I say to all the fellas, baby mom, all that, put yourself on child support and you're not doing it to literally put yourself on child support, but you're doing it so you can have custody of your kid, especially if you don't plan on marrying her. If you plan on having your relationship, because she will get jelly, she might have a relationship as well. You might get jealous, or my kid can't be around that. That's when the arguments start. When people move on and they go away from the family structure, and one person go to the male, another person go to the female, the kid is still stuck in the middle. You know, the only person that actually is being affected is the child at the end of the day, because the parents are selfish in their own right, in their own way. So if you know that that's going to happen right now, a lawyer would tell you, hey, go put yourself on child support. Saying, but I am not a lawyer, right? Consult with your lawyer, and they will probably tell you the same thing. But let's go.
Abusive towards me in front of Halo. Hallie also describes multiple other alleged altercations between the pair, including receiving a threatening text from DDG in March after he allegedly entered her home while she wasn't there. According to the docs, days later, the musician allegedly locked Hallie out of her house and stole her phone before driving away and throwing it out of his car window. In addition to these interactions, Hallie says DDG often engages in bad-mouthing me to his several millions of fans across YouTube and Twitch, which she says results in her receiving threats and hate on social media. She adds, "I have done everything possible to avoid going to court," before concluding with, "I cannot allow this abuse any longer. I cannot keep living like this." E! News has reached out to reps for Hallie and DDG and has not yet heard back.
So that's what's going on with Hallie and what's the name? Both of them are connected to Rock Nation. Hallie is Beyonce, all of them related, right? Rock Nation tried to buy DDG out a long time ago. He wanted to remain independent. Why you think they sent them a $300,000 bottle? That's like to me, I think they sent it. Put a one in the chat if you believe that they sent it, because it's like, okay, joke's up. If you don't accept our offer, we're about to begin the game. Let's play the game. Because they own the media, they own the narrative, they can play the game all day long, right? They're just going to destroy your character, your moral compass. They're going to take everything from you. Hell, even if I notice, and this one thing I noticed, right? Either a woman can help you in life, right? Help you get further, or they can use the woman to actually break you in life. Now, they say you judge a man based on how their women treat him. If they women treat him like trash, that's a mistake. If their kids treat them like trash, that's a mistake. That's something is lacking in the man, right? If the woman had the final say so and everything, something is lacking in that man, right? He may not be the type of man that you would think that he is, right? And you just have to be careful. You just have to be careful. One thing I say is that they use the woman as a pawn in any society to take down the king. That's what I've noticed. If I'm lying, I'm flying. They use the woman in any society, right, to take down the king. Because what's the closest to the king? The woman. The woman. Just that simple. That's just what I believe. So I believe that they're going to use Hallie probably to propel her career. I won't be surprised if she come out with an album to try to trump his album sales and just piggyback and boomerang off him. That's just what I see. But let's continue. Let's continue. So we talked about Tory Lanez. We talked about DDG, right? Now, let's go ahead and talk about have something else on the screen. Everything lined up. Now, let's talk about as soon as Chris Brown and all these people are connected to Rock Nation. At least they Rock Nation want them to be, but they didn't abide by Rock Nation rule. So what do? Smear campaign, allegedly, hypothetically, supposedly. Chris Brown tweeted the other day, academics retweeted it as well. It said, "Free Tory." Who else he talking about? He ain't talking about Tory Burch. He talking about Tory Lanez, right? As soon as he said that, back in court for something he did 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he hit somebody in the head with a bottle. But my thing is this: why can't he get a bond for cases like that? I'm not going to advise that you put your hands on her, but as a man, you're going to want to reframe her from hurting you, which means you have to put your hands on her in some way, maybe to stop, to not proceed with the next action. That would be the correct thing to think. But in the heat of the moment, everybody think about what's the best result after the facts, because you're not really in it, right? You're not really in it. So I totally get that, right? I totally understand it. It's like you come up with the best solution, not during the situation, but damn near when you have a clear mind. If you don't have a clear mind, you guys are arguing. Things may go the way that you don't want it to go. So it takes a lot of discipline to not even argue with them. Just walk away. That sounds like the right thing to do now, doesn't it? But how could you walk away if she throwing things at you, you getting hit, what happens if she just pick up a knife? Or nowadays everyone got a gun, so what happens if she just pull out a pistol on you? Like, so many different things. You can't call it, right? So they went through their little go through, right? I ain't taking sides. They went through they go through. But ever since that happened, right, you notice Rihanna career skyrocketed. Chris Brown career went down, but Chris Brown is Chris Brown. You can't stop the man, but let's continue.
Assault for attacking Rihanna. He pleaded guilty.
I look back at that picture and I'm just like.
Now, they obviously both was fighting. So that's kind of gruesome right now. We're not going to show that picture because we don't want, what's the name, to flag the video. So we're going to end it right there with that one, and we're going to go on to the new case. Let's just see what's going on with the new case with Chris Brown, his most recent one.
R&B singer Chris Brown has appeared in court today, charged with grievous bodily harm with intent in connection with an alleged assault at a nightclub in London 2 years ago. Our reporter Alison Freeman is at Manchester Magistrates Court. Alison, what more can you tell us about this case?
Well, Ben, as you can imagine, there has been quite a lot of media interest in the appearance of this very high-profile R&B star here at Manchester Magistrates Court this morning. The press benches were full and an overflow room had to be set up within the court for reporters and for fans. When Chris Brown appeared in the dock just after 12:15, he was wearing a black t-shirt and black tracksuit bottoms, and he spoke only to confirm his name, date of birth and address during the hearing, which lasted around 40 minutes. Now, Mr. Brown, who is 36, is charged with causing grievous bodily harm with intent at a nightclub in London in February 2023. It's understood that he arrived by private jet to Manchester Airport on Wednesday. He was then arrested early yesterday morning. He is currently on tour and is scheduled to play several dates across the UK over the next couple of months, 3 of those here in Manchester next month. The singer did not enter a plea today, and he was remanded in custody until his next appearance at Southwark Crown Court on the 13th of June. Ben.
Okay, Alison, thank you.
So you have to sit in there for a damn near month, right? Just for them to come up with something. So I'm saying it all to say, right? You guys, everything is connected to Rock Nation, allegedly, hypothetically, supposedly, because they all had some form of accountament with them. And it seems like once you don't do what Rock Nation wants you to do, your career go left. That's how Hollywood play. I guess they'd be considered a gatekeeper, wouldn't you say? But leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you really think. I just wanted to dive and connect the dots with those things. We have the Tory Lanez, the Megan Thee Stallion, the DDG and Haley. We also have the Chris Brown situation of him just saying free Tory, and then everything went left for him. I don't believe in coincidence. I just don't. But smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. That's all I ask. Make sure that I pinned the credit check. 24 hours, you got to put the candy in the medicine, or the medicine in the candy. So this is the 24-hour credit monitoring service. Make sure you're checking your credit. Make sure you're involving your credit so you can get whatever type of money you need to get while we discuss these things that may be a bit conspiracy theory but he has some truth sprinkling in it. But let me know what you guys think. Most importantly, these are all allegations. Let me repeat, these are all allegations, but we just putting the pieces of the puzzles together. On that note, it's another episode of the Healthy Discussion Show.